So first and foremost, my name is Sean Kozak, and I am the CEO of Tickblaze. What we're going to be doing today is we're going to be going over a marketplace algo launch. And what's exciting, okay, is this is not just some algo. Okay, this is not some algo. We built this over years of the evolution of trendline trading. We're going to talk about this in the actual story behind the system. And we're going to talk about kind of all of the details that go into automating trend lines. Video and sound 5.5, John. So is everybody good to go here? Yeah. Who's Tori? I
I
don't know.
think that
Scribe
I
Tori.
think that means it's good.
Okay, 5.5. Okay, you guys threw me off there for a second. First, perfect. So, long story short, we're going to be recording this presentation, right? We're going to send out a recording so that you guys can watch this after. I do think it's important. Plus, everybody that decides to work with us on this algo, we're going to be hosting an AMA tomorrow morning with our R&D and development teams. And we're going to be basically going over essentially all the inner mechanics of the system, the settings, and how to build and test and optimize the templates. Okay. Now, the key here is that trend lines is not a new concept, but how you trade trend lines is. And so what we're going to do is we're going to talk about how we trade breaks of trend lines, how we use trend filters to identify the best breaks, and then how we've identified different time frames, different bar types, different settings across the market so that ultimately you guys can see that there's potential across multiple asset classes as well as different time frames, whether that's times charts, second charts, volume charts, Renko charts. We've done it all. And there's a lot of history behind trend lines. And this is going to be something that I think most people will resonate with here as we present the strategy. Okay. So can everybody see this? Let me just do this. Let's grab this and let's go through it. So before we get started, as always, need to cover a quick disclaimer. If you guys could just please read this. I'm not here to give you advice or tell you what to do with your money or all that stuff. You know, obviously trading does bear risk, and if you don't accept those risks, we can't move forward. So can everybody read that and know that I'm not here to give you advice and not promise you the returns, and there's no millionaires made in 5 minutes and all that fun stuff, right? Past performance never gets guarantees future results, right? So please type a Y in the chat box so we know we can move forward. Fantastic. All right. So the reason we do these webinars is because we have a team that builds systems. These strategies and these indicators and everything that we do in the marketplace is to provide tools so that traders can make better money. I mean, that's the end result is that, when you build a toolbox, you fill it with tools, right? And the tools are there to be able to help you build and define your objective, right? Well, the problem is that a lot of traders don't have the right tools, or they don't have the right strategy, or they don't have the right performance. And what ends up happening is it becomes a very daunting experience. Traders struggle. I know everybody in here, including myself at one point, has gone through a really tough time in their trading. And so I know you're not here to waste more time. Time is something we don't get back. Time is something that is very precious to us. But the only way to fix that is to be able to provide solutions. And so, if you guys are okay with letting go of the past and listening to a better edge or a better solution, just type a yes in the chat box, because a lot of you might be struggling right now, or maybe a lot of you are actually going through a journey of trial and error. Maybe you're blowing out accounts, maybe you're not, maybe you're break even, whatever the case may be. I don't really care about the past, right? Because the point of today is to provide you with a solution using this system that I think is probably extremely easy for everybody to see and understand, because the way in which trendline trading is done is it's very visual, which a lot of strategies are not. A lot of strategies are not so visual, right? A lot of times traders can gravitate towards visual learning, which makes it a lot more profitable. It's a lot easier to trade. Okay. So the reason we automate systems is because humans have problems. Humans have a problem with emotions. We have a problem getting in and out of trades. Most traders don't even back test their systems. Times like, you got to be on your game to be a retail trader and to be a manual trader at best, right? We automate because we have the ability to fix a lot of these problems. And a lot of traders may not know about automation. Like if you're in here and you're not an algo trader or you haven't run a lot of automated systems, this might be a daunting task for you, right? Say, oh, I've never automated strategies, or I don't know what that means, or running an algo, it sounds complicated. I'm just going to stick to what I do, right? Well, my ask here is that you give it a chance, because automation, what it does is it actually allows you to be more accurate. It increases your execution. It minimizes your emotions down to literally just setting up the systems and letting them run. The big one for me is back testing and optimization, right? Like, I won't trade a strategy unless I have data for that strategy. And without data, why would anybody want to trade something that they don't have at least an evidence that it worked in the past, right? Now, there's no guarantee of anything in the future, but I would rather trade a strategy that has proven to be very successful over the last month, 2 months, year, whatever, because that gives me an edge from basically not guessing, right? Because a lot of traders, what they're doing is they're guessing. They think the indicators they're using is working. They think the strategy they're using is working, but they don't have any data. And that data backs up the ability for you to remove your barriers of fear, and it improves you as a trader, right? It'll give you a more systematic and mechanical way of executing trades, and machines will always follow the rules better than a trader. Okay. How many of you guys would agree that automating can sounds pretty appealing, right? I mean, for those of you that are algo traders, you understand this. But if anybody here is new, you can agree with me that, if you're struggling as a manual trader, automation is most likely going to fix a lot of those problems. Okay. Now, that doesn't mean you're just going to go and build an automated system. That's what we do, right? We're here to do that for you. And you're here to be able to learn from people that have spent time and money and resources behind building an edge. And that's the whole point of our marketplace. Now, this is the Trendbreaker Algo, right? It's a couple lines on a chart. It's that simple, right? Trends are about market structure. And depending on how you want to set that market structure will determine the trends. The biggest factor of this system is the zigzags and the market structure. What we do is we basically peg anchors to swing points, and we take those swing points and we choose to make them very small or very big. And the reason we do that is it'll turn the difference between very intermediate trends or big trends. So what does that mean, right? You might have a trend that just does this, right? You get a bunch of trends, and because the swing points are small, right? A good example would be like this, right? That's a different setting versus this. The difference is that would have been a different setting in the zigzag, which means you can have very tight trends or you can have very large trends, and the result will be completely on a different planet, right? What you do here is going to be very different than what you do here. And so that's the point of structure analysis, is that we can take the system and we can automate the plotting of the anchors to forecast trend lines, and then we're not actually trading the pullbacks. A lot of traders are trading the pullback here, taking a trade, taking a trade. We're not. We're actually executing on the break of a trend line, right? And the point of this is that we can ascertain this. A good example would be is that you're not going to just take every single trend line break like this short. What if the EMAs were down? What if you're in a downtrend, you're getting an uptrend, and you're trading that break in the direction of the trend? Right now, you can start to understand where we can combine strategy elements to building a system around where you trade the breaks of trends. If all you're going to do is trade trend line breaks, well, I can promise you, well, that's not a profitable strategy. Neither is just drawing a 1 or 2 touch point trend line anywhere on a chart and just throwing it by the wayside. So, I'm just going to trade a trend line break because it's got 2 touch points. Well, that I can promise you, we have the data on that. That doesn't make money either. What we do know is that when you combine certain time frames with certain structure settings and you use directional filters, it becomes a very profitable system. And that's what we're going to do today, is we're going to show you how to take what we've built and turn it into a winning edge. Okay. Now, let's go in here and actually change the slide. 1 second. I'm going to do that. And let's do this. Now, to us, how many of you, this is your first presentation for algos? Just type a 1 in here if this is your very first presentation for algos with us. I want to know if you're new here. Just type a 1 if this is the brand new algo presentation. We got a couple. Can everybody just tell me if you're new here? I'm going to explain why. There's a lot of ways to build or buy an algo in the industry. You could Google automated trading. You can, go on YouTube and type algos or whatever you want to do. And you can go to a website and just buy a black box, and you can assume that you're going to build a strategy, and buy a strategy is going to make you money. Well, to me, and this is 15 years of experience talking, is that what most people don't know is that they're just buying the signal, right? And the signal actually makes up for 20% of an algo. But most people are spending 5K, 10K on black box systems. And they're saying, oh, I'm going to buy this strategy and it's going to print me money. But they don't realize that the vendor selling them that algo doesn't really know jack shit about algo trading. And what's different with what we've done is we've spent the last 3 to 4 years building a proprietary algo engine. Call this the algo engine. Okay. And it makes up for 80% of the performance of a strategy. You say, well, what does that mean? Well, we have a team, and what we do is we put together signals, and those signals can be signal systems, strategy systems, trendline systems, market structure systems, Renko systems, whatever the case may be. And what we do is we plug it into the algo engine. And once we identify that the algo engine can take a strategy and make it exceptionally profitable, that's when we know we have a system that we'll put in the marketplace. And what does that mean? Well, we're going to look at how you enter the trades. Then how do you do the stop loss? What are your targets? When are you trading the strategy? What's the money management? What are the trend filters? What are the market structure filters? What are the momentum filters? And what we're doing is we're taking a strategy that can sometimes go like this, right? And go like this and basically get it to go like this, because we're taking a factor of this and then all of this, and we're combining it into a winning edge. And that's the whole point. Does everybody understand that? We will never trade a strategy that we have not put through the algo engine, because it's a losing proposition. If all you do is trade the signal, well, anybody can throw darts at a board, but there's no way to determine if that's actually going to be a winning edge. How many of you guys would agree that that's important? Now, there's a lot that goes into the algo engine. Like, this is a screenshot of all of the settings that we put into the algo engine. And we're going to talk about this tomorrow in the actual AMA. Don't worry, you don't need to know what all these do, and you don't have to understand everything. I'm just here to show you that this is kind of an under the hoods look of, what a Porsche looks like, right? Or a Ferrari, right? And our algos are like Ferraris. And that's the difference between systems that we build versus systems you can buy in the normal online on the web, is that we spent probably close to $1 million or more on just the back end of the infrastructure of the algo engine, between people, time, development, R&D, 3 years of a very large team building an algo engine that allows us to look at different components to taking systems and making them very, very profitable. And this is a great example of the signal here. So here's all the entry stuff. We look at all the entries. Then here is for the stop losses, all the different types of stop losses you can use, trailing stops, break-even stops, etc. Then we look at targets. Are we doing a volatility target? Are we doing a risk and reward target? Are we doing an all-in, all-out target? Time of day versus day of week versus blockers, money management, filters around trend and momentum, right? You guys get the point. The point is that we've gotten down to a science that we build templates for our traders. And that's what you're going to get today, is that you're going to get a bunch of pre-built templates that have already been built, already been optimized. You don't have to do anything. You can just basically take it and trade it. And we're going to show you how to set that up here, because we've spent weeks building the infrastructure for traders. Now, this is kind of the way that we do this. And this is kind of the way in which we set up the settings. It's all visual drop downs. The visual drop downs here are basically, you just click a button and it unlocks the different settings. We're very big on very user-friendly technology. And the reason we do this is so that it makes it easier for our traders to use the things that they use. And it makes it easier for traders to actually see things. One of the things that we struggled with over the years using other platforms is that it was very difficult for users to actually use the technology. And most traders get overwhelmed by the technology, because the technology is ultimately very difficult for traders to actually understand. So we try to make things very simple, very linear, like step 1, do this, step 2, do this, step 3, do this, so that we can basically understand how to set things up, right? So how many of you guys would agree that sometimes technology is very difficult? I mean, how many of you guys have struggled with technology? How many of you guys have struggled with setting up the settings and understanding how to use things? You won't find that here with our tools because what we've done is we've built the infrastructure to make it very linear and very, very quick and very easy for things to be used. Okay. Now, let's go through here and let's take a look at some exciting things. Okay. 1 second. So if you can take a screenshot of this, this will be basically all of the different things that are actually coming inside of this algo, and I'll just talk about this for a second. We have buffer zones that we built into the system. We'll talk about that on the demo here. You can adjust the swing strength. You have the ability to enter with different multiple entry points. We automatically do this, so it detects it automatically. So the algo is going to do everything from an automatic perspective. You don't have to draw any trend lines. It's going to plot your anchors. It's going to plot everything. And then ultimately, it's basically going to determine which trends are going to be broken or which not. It automatically places your stops and targets. So that way you don't have to plan anything. And it automatically factors in your money management. So you don't have to worry about your position sizing. We have multiple exit criteria. We can add filters through this. It will show you the trade performance on the chart. So you can actually see the P&L as it's happening in real time as well as historical. And then you'll be able to do back testing and optimization because we've basically built it through the actual instance of the actual platform. So we're going to walk you through how to do that on the settings. Okay. Now, let's take a look at this and we'll show you something here. So how many of you guys in here have ever heard of the AT Trader before? Anybody here from the old Ninja Trader days and the old back in the days when we were using the AT Trader? For anybody here that's new in here, you basically may or may not know that. How many of you guys remember ARC AI and the AT Trader? Anybody here know that? Type of yes if you remember that. Yes? Perfect. Okay. Well, years and years ago, many moons ago, we decided to build the AT Trader. And the AT Trader was one of the most widely used systems that we've ever seen in the retail trading space. Why? Because we have a very large group of traders, very large community, and we also work with a lot of partners. But we had a lot of traders trading on the AT Trader. And we've got performance reports, like you guys can go through this recording and watch this. Very, very successful traders have used the AT Trader. And the story behind this is that we have a lot of traders that have used the AT Trader and they were using it. And these are old screenshots. We pulled these from how this all started. There's a story behind this, right? We had thousands and thousands of traders around the world using the AT Trader and taking trades and plotting the trades. You can see there's a trend line trades. These are on other platforms, etc. And then what ended up happening is like the amount of traders using this strategy was it was the most profitable system that I've ever seen traders using. And if you were around since the beginning and years ago when we did this, you'd be surprised that like the amount of traders using this system was through the roof. Like just so many traders taking trades, trading the AT Trader manually. And then what ended up happening is that we acquired Tickblaze. And we moved off of the infrastructure of other platforms and we built the Trendbreaker trading system inside a Tickblaze, but we didn't actually have it built as an algo or anything. We just started trading it manually. So you can see here that we were teaching it, trading it manually, setting up the settings and doing all this. And, we ultimately we're trading it manually. The performance was manual. The performance was very flexible. And a lot of traders would start trading this in the trading room. And then what ended up happening was that we ultimately brought it into the trading room. Now, why? Because we were trading this manually. You can take a look. These are trades I actually took trading the manual system. These were trades that I actually took trading it. And you see here logging the trades. These are real fills. This is the settings on the 15-second chart that the NASDAQ runs in the trading room. Here's trades taking on this strategy. Here's the fills and me trading the strategy in real. And there's a reason for this. Like we have so much historical data of actual trading the strategy manually, right? That we ultimately we decided that we were going to move this into Tickblaze and build software around it. You can start to see here's a trades charting it manually. These were all manual executions. Here's trade stats with the timestamps trading. You can see all the fills. This is me trading it. Okay, me trading it, and we actually brought it into the trading room. And the reason we brought it into the trading room is because we knew that traders would be very successful with this. Okay, now I think Jeff is here. Is Jeff here?
Yep, sure am.
You've been trading the Trendbreaker ever since we launched it manually, have you not?
I use it every day in the trade room.
Every day, right? And it's simple, yes?
Extremely.
Yeah.
I
The
love it.
reason, yeah, and it's easy and it's visual, right?
Yep.
So the concept around the trend breaker is that we brought it in manually because it's easy to trade and traders can actually do very well with it, right? Here's more trades of it. Here's more trades of it. I think Jeff, you've been very successful trading. You only trade on the NQ, yes?
With Trendbreaker, yes, only the NQ.
Only the NQ. Okay. We've actually done testing on crude. We've done testing on gold. We've done testing on the NQ. It's been very, very successful. But here's just real trades, right? Like this, you can see that these are trades after trades after trades, right? Here's me trading it even in the airport. I posted like this was, trading in the airport, right? Like you can understand this, right? So, the reason I'm showing you this, and you can take a look, here's more trades. I think this was Jim's charts trading it, and you can, Jim, maybe you can share a little bit. I think Jim's here too, right? I mean, when we started trading this on this, I mean, you've seen a lot of systems, but very rarely do you just jump in and start trading stuff.
Yeah, this one was fun. I like this strategy a lot. You can use it on fast charts and get in and out, quick scalps. As long as you know which way the market's going, which is easy enough with some EMAs, then it's pretty easy and it makes good money. So it was fun.
What I want to do here, guys, is I want to show you what we did. Here's Jim, Jim again, right? More profits from Jim, right? The whole point is you can see how many pictures we can show you of just the trades being traded manually. Like it just keeps going, keeps going, keeps going. Now there's a reason for that. Here's me trading it on Renko's, very small Renko charts, getting in on the trend line break and then getting a retest on the pullback, right? Like this was me trading it. Now, why do I share this? Is because a lot of strategies when you build them, they end up just becoming something you build and you sell them. As a team, we try to move away from that. We don't really build systems that we haven't really vetted or traded, right? Like if we're going to build something, an algo, especially because a lot of work and a lot of money and a lot of time and resources go into building automated systems. It's not just, oh, let's build an indicator with some lines and there you go, bing, bang, boom. An algo takes a lot of work. You have to do code specs, you have to have the data, you have to have the rules, then you need to put it in the engine, then you need to test it. We do all that to verify if this actually should be automated or not. And so we decided that this deserved to be automated because it is extremely successful, but there's no other system that I don't think there's any other system we have with the amount of actual trade data of traders trading it outside of, let's say, maybe the opening range, right? The amount of traders trading the trend breaker manually, it's an non-comparable. Not even on Tickblaze, but on other trading platforms as well. And so we automated this. And we decided to build it so that it's building automated zigzags, building automated trend lines, etc. And it ultimately structures everything so that you can actually just turn it on, let it plot everything, and then take the trades. Now, here's an example of a short. Here's an example of a long. Zigzags plot, the trend line draws, it takes the entry on the break, it takes the stop and target, and then basically takes the exit. Here's another example of it working on several entries. You can see the short and then the long here on the NASDAQ on a 15-second chart, right? You can see the trend lines are drawing, and then basically it takes the trade and bang, right? Here's another example of shorts and longs playing out on the MNQ, right? This is the algo now working, basically algo plotting the system. Here's another example of a bunch of shorts taken, right, on the NQ, right? And you can see that it's very visually easy. I mean, the charts will draw, the lines will plot, you'll get the trend line breaks, and the software will basically do everything for you. Here's an example of a downtrend basically breaking an uptrending line and basically takes the exit. Now, I mean, we're not going into how many targets you should have here. This is more visualization of showing you the actual algo executing the trades. And what we did, and this is exciting, is that I asked Jeff yesterday and Jim the other day, I said, I'd really like to film live trading. I'd really like to film a bunch of examples of the system working in real time. And so what we did was Jeff set up a fast Renko chart last night on the NQ, I believe, and he just let it run and we filmed it. And while we were sleeping, the algo was running and we were actually just executing trades. And so we decided to film it. So I'm just going to press play here and we're actually just going to watch these execute. This is yesterday's trading. So we're going to play it. So let's watch it. You can see it, and you can see that we're trading in an uptrend right now with the EMAs. So the goal would be for us to break the downtrending line. And once it crosses through the downtrending line, it's going to execute the short or the long, excuse me, and take the trade. So, and it will automatically set the stops and targets based off the swing point or a factor of the swing point. So you can see where the stop was placed. The key here is that the stop loss was placed here based off of the swing point. We automatically calculate the stop size. And if this was a deeper pullback, it would have calculated a bigger stop, and it would automatically adjusted the money management automatically, right? Yeah, and those are small Renkos on purpose. We wanted to film as many trades, Todd, to show as many examples in the overnight session. You don't have to trade it on this fractal, but we wanted to film it in real time so that we can ultimately show examples, right? So let's just do this, and there we go. Take a look here. There it is. Here's another one. Yeah, so this is automatically plotting. You're going to see that the trend lines will draw in real time, and the trend is up, so we're going to look for a break. As soon as it breaks through, it's going to take the entry long. You'll see it didn't take the entry there. It needs to clear the buffer zone by a certain amount of ticks in order for the execution, right? And you'll see where the stop loss is automatically placed here. The target's automatically placed, and we'll let it play out. Now, this was last night. So that was a pretty good trade. Now you could trade for a lot larger targets. You don't need to have just an all-in, all-out target like that, right? And let's take a look here. Let's go to the next one. Here's another one. Okay. We're just going to keep playing them because we filmed a whole lot of different examples last night of just live trading. And the goal is to be able to show you that how it works in real time, right? Let's let that play. Let's do another one. Different example right here. Take a look at this one. This will be an uptrend break. So you can see how explosive the market can be. The market can be very quick. And if you're not fast enough by the algo executing on these trades, it'll be very hard pressed for you to execute, right? It'll be very hard pressed for you to execute these trades. So when you think about, right? You know, if you're executing trades and you miss that, you're going to miss the move. And that's the whole point of an automated system. Okay. Right. That's the whole point of an automated system. Give me a second here. Make sure. I think that's the same video we just watched. I just got so many videos with us trading. I just want to show. Here's a short. Let's do a short. So there's the short. You see the stop loss? It's automatically adapting. So you can see the stop loss places right above the start. You see how fast it can move? Like depending on the settings, I mean, this is a small bar, so it's really fast on the NASDAQ, but the NASDAQ or any of these other markets like the Russell and stuff, if you're not able to put your order and your stop loss, you'll miss the move. And that's the whole point of automation. On trendline breaks, they come in and they basically like you. I've seen at times where like by the time I've calculated my size, put my order in, it's done. And trend line breaks can be very fast, right? So let's take a look at this one. You see how fast the market moves? It can be very, very fast, especially, I mean, even on a bigger bar, the market moves quickly. let's play this one. This is a new one here. So the lines are plotting in automatically. Like the trend lines plot, everything plots, everything basically structures that. We will be taking questions. Yeah, we will be taking questions. Yeah. Yeah, we will be taking questions at the end of the event. Yeah. Yeah. So let's just keep going, guys. Okay, that's it. There's a lot of trades we filmed last night. We do have bigger bars. I'm going to show you an example, but first let's talk about winning something, and then we'll go into a demo here. Yes. So Jim, are you going to run that? Can you explain it?
Yep, I just posted a link in there, guys. Click that link, enter your name and email. We will enter you to win at the end of the event. So make sure to click that link. It's in the chat box.
So let's go in here and let's take a look at this. So let's go in here and let's do this. So what we did, we want to take a different approach to this. And the reason for this is a lot of times, like when we trade strategies, we trade them on one market or we trade them on just, I guess you'd say like the NASDAQ because it's what everybody trades, right? And so what we did with this actually was a little bit different in that we actually wanted to do it as a portfolio. And the reason we do it as a portfolio is because some traders trade in the MES, some traders trade in gold, some traders trade in crude oil and the NASDAQ, right? Like those are the four primaries. And so ultimately, when you look at this, like we tested this on multiple markets, and you'll see the NASDAQ here, we tested it on 20 tick bars, 40 tick reversal, which is what everybody's trading, right? And 25 tick bars and 50 tick reversals. And what we did was we took a portfolio approach because not all traders want to trade the NASDAQ. And so when you look at the average ratio around this, I'm going to show you this now. We're going to break this down. This went all the way up to yesterday. It was a month of trading, and we took an approach for trend lines. And the average win rate across all four markets was 75%. Not just one market, all four. This is the portfolio. And out of all of these markets, there was 300 trades taken across all of these markets in the last month on the settings. The average ratio for these entire basket was 74% for the entire portfolio. And the profit factor on the entire portfolio was 2. Now, that's very difficult, and I'll explain why. It's really easy to do that on one market. It's very difficult to do that on a portfolio of markets, and I'll explain why, because not all markets behave well to one system. You might have a strategy that's good on the NASDAQ, but it may not be good on the S&P, or it may not be good on gold, or it may not be good on oil. So what I decided to do is Jeff said, let's build a portfolio because yes, we can just do the NASDAQ and that's fine. But if traders don't want to trade the NASDAQ, we wanted to be able to show that this strategy holds up across every asset. And I mean, that's a pretty large amount of trades in an entire month, right? It's a 75% hit rate with a 2 profit factor. And we're not risking a lot per trade. Like we're not, I think, Jeff, what was the average risk per trade? Do you know? I can't remember. I don't know if he's here or not. I think Jeff is here, but he might not be here. Yeah, I don't think Jeff is here today, but 500. Okay, the average risk is $500 per trade, which is exceptionally it's very, very solid. Now, let's go in and actually take a look at the actual workspace here, right? So like we have different templates and different settings. So if we look at gold, like this is gold, like, and this is the strategy executing on gold, and it's just up and to the right, right? We got, we look at crude oil, right? We can look at crude oil. I mean, crude oil on a very small second chart, right? It's, you may not want to trade crude oil, but you might want to trade crude oil, right? It just depends on the time frame you want to do. If you want to look at the NASDAQ, if we take a look at the NQ, the NASDAQ is probably going to be the favored market because everybody trades the system on the NASDAQ already. But this is on a 20 tick bar, right? So what we've done is we've done this with trends. We've done this with trend. And so you'll see here's a NASDAQ with trend. The market's down, trend is down. And here's a great example of a trend line break trade to the short side, trend line down, trend line break to the short side, trend lines down. And so the whole point is that you don't have to worry about this not working on whatever market you want to trade. You can basically see here that, the trend is up, take the trend line up and push, right? And so, we've tested this across a lot of markets. And we've tested this across a lot of bars, and we've tested this across a lot of different instruments. And so, I mean, we could look at examples after examples after examples, but I mean, here's a great example of a NASDAQ on the 25 tick bar, and it's just really, really good, right? And, you know, we can go over a lot more data. We can look over here, and you might take a loss, right? You might be there might have a losing day, and that's fine. There's a lot of news in here. You can see the market pushing in here. There might be a losing day once in a while, like that happens. But the overall profit of the system in an automated fashion here. Let's take a look here. I think zoom in. Yeah, I'm on my laptop, so just give it a second here. Just going to zoom in here. All right, there we go. So let's just zoom in here. Just bear with me, guys. My computer was it was humming. Let me just click out of this for 1 second here. Here we go. Let's click back into it. There we go. So essentially, right, you can look at, you know, different windows of the time. You can look at different scenarios of the time. You can look at different environments of like, do you want to have a bigger trend? Do you want to have a smaller trend, right? You'll have like, you can see the amount of trades like this system can take, and it just depends on zooming in, right? And so like you can see like, yeah, you might have a little bit of a drawdown, but it's up and to the right, and it's up and to the right for a reason. Trend lines are going to happen every single day. You're never not going to have a situation where you're not going to have trades. Trend lines are every single day on every single market, right? And so, you know, for me, if I'm going to trade a strategy, I want to be able to trade a strategy that I can ultimately know that I can run a business around, right? And if I'm going to run a business around something, I want to make sure that I have the data to support that business, right? It has to happen every day. It has to happen in an environment where I'm not afraid to get up every morning, turn the strategy on because it only happens once every week, right? Trend lines will happen every single day, all the time, because you're going to be trading market structure, and market structure is price action, right? And so you can trade it at any time, Rain. It's just blocking different windows based on the data. Tomorrow, we're going to run an AMA, and we're going to show you how to set that up. But, you know, the nice part is that we've already built these templates for you. You don't have to do it. This template's the portfolio. We'll give you this. Okay. Is this a real question to us listening? I don't know what that means, Alan. I don't know what that means. Yeah. Do you let it trade during market open? Yeah, you can. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Are those EMAs on the Renko? What is the setting for them? Yeah, those are EMAs. Yeah, we have different settings for different markets. Yeah. So the whole point of these webinars is to show you that, like, if you're going to be trading a strategy, you want to be making sure that you got a strategy that's backed by data. This is an algo that has been time tested over the last 4 years. We started trading this system manually 4 years ago. We've got more trade data on this than any other system across users because we've done this. Hell, we ran trading rooms on this system, and we still run this system in our trading room now. It's just now we have the ability to automate it. Okay. So yeah, we didn't do that, Rudy, on purpose because we're testing it across a whole basket of markets, right? And so that's, you know, for us to do that, it takes a whole lot more time to test a basket. If we were just doing it on one market, absolutely would have done that. Yeah. But this is the entire portfolio, and this is yesterday. So this is yesterday on the portfolio, and that was yesterday, right? That was the day before, right? And you can see here that, you know, out of all of these markets, that was it. That's pretty damn amazing, right? That's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 weeks and 2 losing days. So I don't know about you guys, but that's pretty successful in my opinion. And you know, if you need training on that, that's why we're here tomorrow. We're going to do that. Okay. So what I'm going to do is set this up like this and switch the slide, switch it. I'm on my laptop because I'm traveling right now. And I just want to make sure that you guys can see it. Can you guys see it now? Fantastic. Can you guys see that?
Yeah, it looks good.
Great. So I would not trade a whole portfolio right out the gates. Like that's maybe in Sim if you want to do that. Yes, you could do that, Tony. You could trade the portfolio, but and Tom, but I would pick your favorite market and trade that, right? CEO, obviously your business is always appreciated, and we always care about giving back and helping. So for those of you that take value in what we do, we're very grateful for you guys' attendance. Have a fantastic day, traders, and we will see you tomorrow morning in the AMA. Have a great one, traders. Bye for now.